Hi there, and welcome back to Mary's Nest. Today I'm making a fruit compote. It's a wonderful sweetened fruit mixture that's perfect for topping on oatmeal or a pound cake or just eating plain with a little dollop of whipped cream. I think you're going to really like it. A fruit compote, if you're not familiar with it, is a lovely mixture of fresh fruit and dried fruit and a little bit of sweetness, all cooked down together into a nice chunky mixture. It's very versatile, and it's something my mother always had on hand because you can do so many things with it. It goes from breakfast to dinner, including dessert. And be sure to check the description below where I'll put a link to the recipe. And if you're new to my channel, welcome! And if you'd like learning more about cooking from scratch, natural living, and also joining me around the Texas Hill Country on some adventures, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the little notification bell that'll let you know each time I upload a new video. Well, let's go over the ingredients. What I've got here are some apples and some pears. And I've got 8 apples and 8 pears. I'm going to wash and I'm going to peel these and I'm going to chop them up. And then I've got about half a cup to a cup of dried fruit. It's really whatever you want to add is fine. And here I've got some apricots, some dates, some cherries, and some golden raisins. And then I've got the juice of 1 lemon, and I also have the zest and the pulp of the lemon in there as well. And then I've got a little bit of this is the natural dried cane juice. You may hear it referred to as sucanat or rapadura, but again, you can use any sweetener you want. This recipe is very flexible. You can use brown sugar, white sugar, honey, maple syrup, anything you've got on hand. And then the mixture of spices that I've got here is a teaspoon of cinnamon. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, and just a little pinch of salt. And then the last ingredient is a cup of water. You can also use a cup of juice if you want. Either or is fine. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start cutting up my fruit. And I'm just going to cut this and just take out the core. Now I am not going to throw out anything. I'm actually going to reserve all of this in a bowl because those of you who know me know that I like to make fruit scrap vinegar. And I will put a link either in an iCard or the description below to my video where I show you how to make fruit scrap vinegar. It's just wonderful, and this way nothing goes to waste. And then for making the compote, I'm just going to move these to the side for a minute. Put these seeds, put everything in there. You want the fruit to be cut in small pieces, but not so small that when you cook it, it disintegrates it. So usually what I like to do is just cut it down the middle like that, and then cut it into 3s. And this is about the perfect size, just like that. And then all I do at that point is transfer this to my pot that I'm going to cook the compote in. Alrighty, so then I'm just going to continue. I'm going to cut out the core like this, save that for my fruit scrap vinegar, then peel the skin off and just do the same thing like I just did before. I just have a little paring knife here. There we go. Again, I'm just going to cut this down the middle, and then I'm going to cut it into 3s and transfer it to the pot. And that's it. So I'm just continuing to cut my fruit and just to take off the skins. And now this time I showed you up close that I was working on an apple, and now I'm just working on a pear, just using my little paring knife and taking the skin off. But again, I'm going to save all of this because I'm going to make a fruit scrap vinegar with it when I'm done. And oops, sorry. And as I did with the apple, I'm just going to cut it into 3s, and I'm going to scoop this right scoop this right up into the pot where I'm going to make the compote. And I'll continue doing all of this, but I just wanted to let you know, if you're not familiar with fruit compote, this started back in the Middle Ages, and it was a way just to use up fruits they had that maybe being a little close to spoiling, a little, not at their prime, but that they wanted to preserve and be able to have and enjoy throughout the season. And they would put it in a sweetened liquid, which the sugar that they would use, honey or whatever the case may be, would help to preserve it along with all the spices. And so that's when compote started back in the Middle Ages in Europe. Well, I've got my apples and my pears all peeled and cut up, and now all we do is add the rest of the ingredients. The first is the dried fruit. And as I think I shared with you, I've got some golden raisins, some dates, some cut up apricots, and some golden raisins. And then the lemon juice, which has a little bit of the pulp in it and the zest. And then the sweetener that I'm using is the sucanat, or you might know it as rapadura. It's just the dried cane juice, but you can use any sweetener you want. And then we've got the spices and the little pinch of salt. And that's it. Perfect. Now all we do is cover everything with this 1 cup of water. That's all you need. And we're going to give it all a good stir just to mix. And now we've got a couple of options. If you want, you can just put this in the oven. Cover it and put it in the oven and at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and let it roast more or less in the oven as the fruit softens for about an hour and a half at 350 degrees. You might want to check it halfway through, just give it a spin, see how it's doing and whatnot. There we go, perfect. But I'm going to do mine on the stove top. And how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to put it to simmer, low, medium low, about that, and just watch it. And as the fruit softens and the liquid evaporates and gets to the consistency that I like, it may take less than in the oven, because I can be adjusting the heat and stirring it and whatnot. It does require a little more babysitting, but I'm also making applesauce right now, and I'm doing a lot of work in my kitchen, so I don't mind having this on the stovetop. And it also makes my kitchen smell absolutely delightful. So I'm going to go ahead, put this on my stovetop, and as it begins to soften, I'll show you the various stages and what the consistency looks like and what type of consistency we're looking for the end product. Well, this has been simmering for about 30 minutes, and the pears and the apples have released their juices and mixed with the sugar and the spices, and it just smells heavenly. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this continue to simmer for another 30 minutes. I'll check it in 15, but I think it's going to be another 30 minutes. And I want to let some of the liquid evaporate and allow the fruit to continue to soften. But it's coming along beautifully. And if you make this, the aroma in your kitchen is just going to be heavenly. Well, I let the compote simmer and about another 30 minutes. So for about a total of an hour, and as you'll see, it's just beautiful. The fruit is delightfully soft, yet still intact. There's a lovely sauce with it that is thickened from the juices that were released by the apples and the pears, and really turned out beautiful. And now for the taste test. I've got some in here. I've got a little bit of the apple, some of the pear, some of the dried fruit. Oh, that's delicious. Just delightful. I really like fruit compote, especially the ones made in the fall with apples and pears. And this is perfect, as I mentioned in the beginning. You can top this, put this on top of oatmeal. It's wonderful. And over a little slice of pound cake for a quick and easy dessert. I mean, you can give this to company. They will just love it. Put it over a piece of angel food cake. Anything, any plain cake, you can jazz it up with this, and it's just delightful. So what I'm going to do is decant it. I usually keep it in some kind of jar like this. I've got another one of these too, because I think it's quite a bit. But all I'll do is just put it in like this, and then I'll store it in my fridge. And it'll last a good while, you know, especially with the spices. That helps to help preserve it. But it'll go pretty quickly, because we'll be putting this on top of our oatmeal every morning at breakfast. So I'm just going to continue decanting this up, and then I'll show you how it looks in the jar. Well, I filled this jar all up with my fruit compote. I've got a little bit left in here, and I'm just going to put that in a little bowl because we'll use that first thing tomorrow on our oatmeal. For complete instructions on how to make this fruit compote, please go to the description below, and I'll have a link there that'll take you directly to the recipe. You can also visit my website, marysnest.com. And if you like this video, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're interested in learning more about cooking from scratch like this, and natural living, making natural remedies, and touring around the Texas Hill Country a little bit with me, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And if you do, remember to click on the little notification bell below that'll let you know each time I upload a new video. Well, that's all for today, but I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to having you join me again right here in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.